The power of a quotient from Chapter 1, Lesson 4, Part 2. The power of a quotient property states that for expressions with the same exponent, you can distribute the exponent to each base, to each the numerator and denominator. For example, a divided by b to the fourth power is the same as saying a to the fourth power divided by b to the fourth power. Just as the power of a product property, the power of quotient property can also be used in reverse to help simplify. So if we have 2 to the fourth divided by 6 to the fourth, we can split that up into 2/6 to the fourth power and then simplify our fraction to 1/3 to the fourth power. So let's practice applying the power of a quotient property. In example A, 4/3 divided by 8/3. It's going to be much easier for you if you write it in fraction form. So now we can combine it with 4 divided by 8 to the third power. And then they simplified by dropping down 4/8 all the way down to 1/2 to the third power. In example B, -90 to the second power divided by -15 to the second power. Again, they're applying the power of a quotient property when they put it into fraction form. So -90 divided by -15 all squared. And then they do the simplification. So -90 divided by -15 simplifies all the way down to the whole number of 6. And we keep our exponent of 2. So it's 6 squared. Let's try some of these problems here. In number 15, you have 1 2/10 to the 7th power divided by 6/10 to the 7th power. So I'm going to use the power of a quotient because they have the same exponent. And I'm going to write it as that fraction, 1/2, or 1 2/10, divided by 6/10, all to the 7th power. To simplify, I'm actually going to use the division. I'm going to do 1.2 divided by 0.6. And I know that's 2 to the 7th power. Another example here, -100 to the 6th power divided by -25 to the 6th power. Because they both have that exponent of 6, I'm going to use the power of a quotient. And I'll write it in that fraction form. -100 as the numerator, -25 as the denominator, and keep our exponent of 6. Now I'm going to simplify by using the division. -100 divided by -25 is 4. Remember, a negative divided by a negative is a positive. And I'll keep my exponent of 6. The same rules apply when dealing with variables. So in example A, we have x to the 7th divided by y to the 7th. I'm going to use the power of a quotient property and put that into fraction form and keep my exponent of 7. I can't simplify that anymore because I don't know what x is. I don't know what y is. So I just keep it as x over y to the 7th power. Now, when we add a coefficient in front of our variables, we can do an extra step. The exponent's 11 in both, so I'm going to use the power of a quotient property and put the 9a as my numerator here and the 6b as my denominator. Now I can do some simplification. 9/6 can be simplified into 3/2 because both of these numbers are divisible by 3. All they did was simplify a fraction. Again, nothing can be done with this a or this b because we don't know what the value is. So let's try a few of these out. In number 19, I have w to the 19th power divided by 2z to the 19th power. Because they're both raised to the 19th power, I'm going to use the power of a quotient property. And I'll set that up as a fraction. W as my numerator, 2z as my denominator to the 19th power. I can't do anything with that 2 because there's nothing in the numerator to try and simplify it with. And the w and the z, again, because I don't know their values, they'll stay as w and z. In number 20, 2/6 to the 7th power divided by 5y to the 7th power. Because they are both raised to the 7th power, I can use the power of a quotient property. So I'm going to put both my dividend and divisor into the fraction form here. 2x over 5y, all to the 7th power. 2/5 is in simplest form since the greatest common factor is 1. And again, because x and y, we do not know the values of the variables, we can't simplify that anymore either.